Hi friends, I'm Dave Barthlow, pastor at Fort Walton Beach, First United Methodist. Welcome to the Pastor's Study, our daily devotional to help us focus our mind on the things of God. And this is the perfect week for us to be taking up this practice of focusing our mind on God because it's Holy Week. It's the week where we remember that last week of Jesus' ministry before his suffering, his crucifixion, and his glorious resurrection. We've been reading about those in these daily devotionals. We've gotten through those days, those controversies, those questions, those teachings. And we ended last week on the Thursday, Holy Thursday, where he was in prayer at the Garden of Gethsemane. He had just told his followers who were having a hard time staying awake that his betrayer was at hand. So we pick up in Mark chapter 14, verse 43 through 52. Immediately, while he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived, and with him there was a crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests, the scribes, and the elders. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." So when he came, he went up to him at once and said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. Then they laid hands on him and arrested him. But one of those who stood near drew his sword and struck the slave of the high priest, cutting off his ear. And Jesus said to them, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me, as though I were a bandit? Day after day I was with you in the temple, teaching, and you did not arrest me. But let the scriptures be fulfilled." All of them deserted him and fled. A certain young man was following him, wearing nothing but a linen cloth. They caught hold of him, but he left the linen cloth and ran off naked. Here we have this painful scene. This scene of one of Jesus' inner 12, of all the people who are following him. And we know there are at least 72 people, because at one point he sends out 72. And within those 72 are these 12 closest disciples. And in fact, we learn later that Judas is the one that Jesus entrusted the money to. Jesus must have trusted him greatly. And Judas must have had a close position to Jesus because he was set near him at the Last Supper. So this one who is so close to Jesus is the one who wound up betraying him. Much ink has been spilled trying to divine the motives of Judas. Was it greed? Was it disillusionment? I don't know. I think there are lots of reasonable answers out there. But as I want to point the finger at Judas, all too often I have to remember that I too betray Jesus. He's given me commands to follow. He's told me to love my brothers and my sisters. He's told me to love God with all my heart. He's given me that whole Sermon on the Mount about turning the other cheek and praying for my enemies. That while we want to look down at Judas often for betraying Christ, I often wonder if I don't just do the same thing by not following his command. The good news of Holy Week is that we can be forgiven. That because of what Jesus did, even though we have betrayed him, we can also be forgiven by him. So let's hold tight to Jesus this week. Let's follow his life. Let's follow what happened. And so that we can truly know that we are forgiven and we can try and follow him better. Remember, friends, I love you. Take care of yourselves and shine the light of Christ.